Today we'll be discussing the top 10 highest grossing pay-per-view boxing matches. Many of the fights on this list have sold to more than 1 million customers via pay-per-view services.
Number 10.
Manny Pacquiao versus Shane Mosley. After a few unsuccessful attempts to try and set up the bout, Manny Pacquiao and Sugar Shane Mosley finally competed with each other in Las Vegas in 2011. This bout had a $75 million draw on pay-per-view. Pacquiao won in a unanimous decision and got $20 million, while Mosley got $3.95 million.
Number 9.
Mike Tyson vs. Evander Holyfield. The world's top two heavyweights of 1996 took on one another at the Las Vegas MGM Grand as Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield. Holyfield won the bout by TKO in the 11th round. This made The Real Deal the first boxer since Muhammad Ali to win a heavyweight title on 3 separate occasions. This bout led to a $77.9 million pay-per-view take, as there were 1.59 million sales for this event.
Number 8.
Evander Holyfield vs. George Foreman. Evander Holyfield's fight with George Foreman in Atlantic City was noteworthy in boxing pay-per-view history, as it was the first event on TVKO, a network that eventually became HBO pay-per-view. The $80 million revenue that came from pay-per-view sales more than covered the $12.5 million that Foreman was guaranteed. This bout was the highest grossing pay-per-view boxing event for the next few years, thanks to 1.45 million home buys. Holyfield ended up winning in a unanimous decision.
Number 7.
Floyd Mayweather vs. Miguel Cotto. Although there was a strong desire to see Floyd Mayweather take on Manny Pacquiao in a light middleweight bout, efforts were unsuccessful due to differing views on where the bout should be held and how the money should be split. Still, Mayweather's 2012 victory by unanimous decision against Miguel Cotto led to a total 1.5 million pay-per-view buys, with a total pay-per-view revenue of $94 million. Mayweather earned $45 million in accordance with the terms of his massive contract with Showtime, while Cotto got $8 million.
Number 6.
Mike Tyson vs. Peter McNeely. This fight was noteworthy for being Mike Tyson's first fight back after being gone for 4 years while serving a prison sentence for rape. 1.5 million homes bought the pay-per-view package. The biggest loser in the event was rising star Peter McNeely. Although he had a 36-1 record heading into the fight, McNeely was knocked down twice by Iron Mike in only 89 seconds, and his corner pulled him out before the end of the first round. Still, McNeely did not go home empty-handed, as he got a total amount of $540,000 for entering the fight. Still, McNeely was never able to go too far in his career after losing to Tyson so quickly.
Number 5.
Mike Tyson vs. Evander Holyfield. In just a few months after their first fight with one another, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield went back to the MGM Grand for a rematch. This resulted in a larger purse, as Tyson got $30 million while Holyfield got $33 million. Also, 1.9 million pay-per-view buys were sold, making a total of $100.2 million. However, the bout ended up being one of the most controversial in boxing history, as Tyson was disqualified in the 3rd round for biting Holyfield's ear. Tyson was fined $3 million for his actions in the ring, and also lost his license to compete in the state of Nevada.
Number 4.
Lennox Lewis vs. Mike Tyson. Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson had to face each other at the Pyramid in Memphis because many other places refused to hold the fight. The city of Memphis paid $12 million to host the Lewis-Tyson is On bout at the Pyramid. There were 1.95 million buys for this event, and it grossed around $112 million in pay-per-view sales.
Number 3.
Oscar De La Hoya vs. Floyd Mayweather. In 2007, the light middleweight torch was passed as Oscar De La Hoya lost to Floyd Mayweather Jr. through a split decision. It cost $55 to buy the pay-per-view event, which shattered the old record with $136 million in revenue. De La Hoya got $52 million for the fight, while Mayweather got only $25 million. The planned rematch in September 2008 was expected to raise $150 million, but both boxers retired before then.
Number 2.
Floyd Mayweather vs. Saul Alvarez. The recent bout between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Saul Alvarez was heralded as the one, an event destined to determine who the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world really is. Mayweather won the bout in split decision, although there was a debate over why the scorecards were as close as they were. The $150 million take from pay-per-view sales was supported by a little more than 2 million buys.
Number 1.
Manny Pacquiao vs. Floyd Mayweather. The fight, set to take place on May 2nd, 2015, is expected to pull an estimated $300 million with a projected 4 to 5 million pay-per-view buys, which shatters the previous record of 2.4 million, with some ringside seats already sold for over $150,000 a ticket. And as the anticipation for the fight is building more and more every day, who do you think will win this bout? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching this top 10. Make sure to share this video with another boxing fan, and also click that subscribe button for many more interesting top 10 lists.